Welcome once again to From the Pages, the deep dive where we climb into the dusty archives, crack open the spines of classic wrestling magazines, and let the voices, images, and emotions of the past thunder back to life. Today we are in the fall of 1984, a pivotal, turbulent, and absolutely electric year in the wrestling business. Wrestling's main event is on the racks, bursting with color, attitude, and stories that capture a sport in transformation. This isn't just a collection of articles. It's a snapshot of the moment when regional stars became national icons, when old grudges burned hotter than ever, and when the collision between tradition and expansion sent shockwaves through every locker room in America. We start with the wrestler of the month, Wendi Richter. If you were watching women's wrestling in 1984, you knew the name Fabulous Moolah meant dominance. For decades, nearly 3 full decades, she held the World Wrestling Federation Women's Championship like a crown she would never surrender. But then came Wendi Richter. Athletic, focused, and utterly fearless, Richter stepped into the ring and changed history. She didn't just beat Moolah, she toppled an empire. The article celebrates this seismic shift, noting that Richter never doubted her ability to end Moolah's reign. This was not framed as a fluke. This was the arrival of a new standard-bearer for women's wrestling. For young female fans, this was a moment of liberation. For the locker room, it was a wake-up call. Richter herself says, "I came here to be the best, and I will defend this belt against anyone, anywhere." The match of the month explodes off the page, the Sheepherders versus the Zambuie Express. This was not a polite exchange of holds. It was an unrestrained fight. The blow-by-blow coverage captures fists flying from the opening bell, bodies crashing into guardrails, and tempers boiling over before the referee could even assert control. The Sheepherders, wild-eyed and unrepentant, brawled like men possessed. The Zambuie Express, massive and menacing, responded with crushing power moves that shook the ring. The finish? Controversial. The kind of ending that leaves fans screaming, "Rematch." The magazine calls it less a wrestling match and more a riot with a referee. Next comes Into the Spotlight, featuring Mr. Ebony. Built like a tank but moving with surprising quickness, Mr. Ebony is painted as the man to watch. The profile stresses his blend of strength and agility, his hunger for recognition, and his ability to adapt to any opponent. "I'm not here to just be another guy on the card," he says. "I'm here to tape the main event spots." Then we dive into one of the marquee bouts covered. Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant versus Big John Studd, Adrian Adonis, and Dick Murdoch. The description crackles with big match atmosphere. Hogan, the reigning World Wrestling Federation champion, commands the crowd's attention the moment he steps through the curtain. Andre towers over everyone, his presence alone worth the price of admission. On the other side of the ring, the heel trio of Studd, Adonis, and Murdoch plot, stall and cheat at every opportunity. The turning point comes when Andre finally corners Studd, a man who had spent weeks bragging about being the only true giant in wrestling, and unleashes a flurry of crushing blows. Hogan cleans house, Andre seals the deal, and the babyfaces stand tall, victorious. The roar from the crowd is described as a sound that rattled the bones of the building. From there, we are plunged into the dangerous world of Abdullah the Butcher in the Midwest. The magazine spares no detail in painting Abdullah as a walking nightmare. His matches are short, savage, and leave opponents in pools of their own blood. The narrative makes it clear. When Abdullah comes to town, the local promoters know to reinforce the barricades and keep the medical staff close. The piece says Abdullah does not just defeat his opponents, he maims them. One of the most personal and venom-filled features comes next. Angelo Mosca calls Mike Rotundo a disgrace. Mosca doesn't mince words. He accuses Rotundo of arrogance, disrespect, and lacking the heart of a true professional. "He's not fit to lace my boots," Mosca declares. The tone here is not hype for a wrestling angle. It feels like raw, genuine disdain. The seeds of an intense feud are planted right in these paragraphs. We move to Texas for Kerry Von Erich versus Ric Flair in San Antonio. This is classic National Wrestling Alliance drama. Flair, the master manipulator, spends the early minutes targeting Kerry's legs, trying to cut the modern-day warrior down to size. Kerry, fueled by the hometown crowd, roars back with power slams and ironclad determination. The finish is pure flair, bending the rules just enough to escape with the championship. The article makes it clear that this rivalry is far from over. Next up is Magnum T.A., known outside the ring as Terry Allen. The magazine presents him as the embodiment of the new wrestling star: good looks, athletic skill, and a connection with fans that can't be taught. The feature reads like a prediction, one that says Magnum is destined for the top of the card sooner rather than later. In the fly swatter, columnist ire turns to Roddy Piper, framed as the sport's ultimate legend killer. Piper's feuds are listed like a roll call of greatness, and yet he thrives on antagonizing them all. "I'll keep knocking the halos off your so-called heroes," Piper sneers. It's classic Piper, sharp-tongued, fearless, and impossible to ignore. The magazine also covers One Man Gang's alliance with Dusty Rhodes. Two big personalities, two big bodies, one massive question: will they dominate or will they self-destruct? The feature hints at both possibilities and leaves the reader eager to see which way the scales will tip. We wrap with American Wrestling Association coverage, highlighting Nick Bockwinkel's unmatched technical skill, Curt Hennig's rise as the next big star, and the unshakable toughness of the Crusher. The tone here is proud. The AWA sees itself as holding the line against the rapid expansion of the WWF. Finally, the magazine offers exclusive color portraits, full-page shots of the top names, perfectly posed, ready to be torn out and taped to a wall by fans who want to keep their heroes close. And that, my friends, is wrestling's main event from November 1984. A magazine that captures the grit, glamour, and sheer spectacle of a sport in the middle of an era-defining shift. If you enjoyed this trip through history, like this video, share it with every wrestling fan you know, and subscribe for more journeys back through the pages of wrestling's golden years. And remember, in wrestling, legends aren't born, they're made, usually after someone smashes them over the head with a steel chair.